During the Eid holiday in September 2009, we went on safari in Tanzania. We took a plane from our then place of residence Abu Dhabi and had a 4-hour stopover in Nairobi, Kenya, before continuing to Arusha. On our leg to Arusha, we flew past the Kilimanjaro. We arrived quite late in the lodge and headed straight to the bar for a drink. After a good night's sleep, we could see Oasis Lodge by daylight. The cabins are themed on the Maasai circular mud dwellings. They are simple but comfortable with good showers. We enjoyed the outdoor breakfast with birds providing the background music. Our luggage got lost on the flight to Arusha, so we collected our carry-on bags from the cabin and headed for the four-wheel drive where our driver Marco was already waiting. This Land Rover Defender would be our vehicle for the coming 7 days. Oasis Lodge is located in the suburbs of Arusha, and although the city is thriving on tourism, there are still a lot of dirt roads.
No. Oh, in the market there's a lot of people.
The saloon car will not survive very long on this type of road, no?
Oh man, it's very difficult. It's very difficult. This is good. We are going, you'll see. Some of the road you will see. Very horrible. Bumping a lot.
Yeah. No problem. First, we would visit the office of Team Kilimanjaro, the travel agent that is managing our 7-day safari in Tanzania. We would have to contact the airline for our luggage and would need to organize the luggage drop-off somewhere in the bush, pending our location. Team Kilimanjaro has developed a diverse program of game viewing tours like ours and hiking tours up the Kilimanjaro. They employ tour guides, drivers and porters who in their spare time maintain the equipment or hone traditional skills. With arrangements for luggage delivery cleared, we were finally on our way, leaving Arusha and heading west. Arusha Airport is on our left. The landscape opened up when we left the city. You can clearly see that we are at the end of the dry season. We made a quick stop at this termite's nest. They can grow surprisingly tall and can be found all over the plains. Just before entering Lake Manyara National Park, we found an open market with a large art section where African painters made and sold their typical artwork. Lake Manyara is the 7th largest lake in Tanzania and is located in the African Rift Valley. It is shallow but holds water all year long, although the water level varies with the seasons. We didn't enter the national park since it's not included in our itinerary.
In the plane you see the giraffe sitting down.
With binoculars we could spot hippos, elephants and giraffe. Transportation is at a premium in Tanzania, and it is common for the drivers to carry small packages or even money for relatives or friends. Therefore, we made a quick stop in Karatu, also called Dusty Town, so Marco could drop off some goods. After doing his part for his community, we would now go straight to the Kisima Ngada tented lodge, where we would spend our second night. Lake Eyasi, or as the Germans called it, Nyarasase, is a seasonal, shallow salt lake on the floor of the Great Rift Valley, just south of the Serengeti National Park. The lodge is located on the edge of Lake Eyasi in Hadza territory and has its own water spring. Except for the small stream of the spring, the lake was empty, so there were no mosquitoes.
Yeah.
We were allocated this comfortable tent with private bathroom and shower. An African openbill looking for his favorite prey, the apple snail. The lake is empty. The trees surrounding our tent were packed with vervet monkeys. Their favorite game was to jump from the tree onto the roof of the tent and then to slide down. Every time I took the camera, they stopped doing it. Hey, monkey.
Come on.
Okay. Aye, somebody is hungry. Reception and dining hall. After an excellent meal with a cold beer, we enjoyed the surroundings before going to bed. Nests of weaver birds. We had to get up before sunrise the next day to join the Hadza on a hunt. Early morning we picked up a guide who masters Hadzane. the language of the Hadza.
Because here it is difficult after that.
Yeah, the life is very, very difficult. Like the kerosene here, the people will walk about maybe 10 kilometers or 20 kilometers to buy a kerosene for light.
For the lights, yeah.
Inside
The Hadza are considered one of the last hunter-gatherer tribes in Africa, with approximately 1,300 tribe members. Their native homeland includes Lake Eyasi and the surrounding hills. The Hadza have no domesticated livestock, nor do they grow or store food. The women usually forage for edible plants, while the men hunt for meat and gather honey.
See the animals are closer, right?
It is estimated that it takes about 4 hours of effort or work per day to maintain their lifestyle, which is a pretty efficient way of surviving.
Too many people go hunting.
Fire.
They already catch.
They do changing something every time. Like just welcome. It is Frits. Okay.
So this is a fresh one, you think?
Yes, this is a fresh one. You see. Yeah.
So this was of a kill of yesterday or the day before, or?
Yesterday, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Really, really.
See you.
These people, they wake up in the morning and they make two groups. I mean, ladies around the fire like this, and the men also as well.
Okay.
They have discussion before they leave to go hunting, and also before they go gathering, because women do gathering and the men do hunting. So they do these two kind of activities as well every day. And also when they go hunting, men, I mean, sometimes as you see the land is really looking dry and the wild animal already just disappeared because they know these people hunting every day. So they suffering sometimes because they go hunting and they come back for nothing. So in case when they come back for nothing without catch something in the bush, they just sharing the fruits and the roots found by their wives, and they just eat and get the food as well. Yes.
Okay, so they sleep under a rock on animal skins.
Yes. Also what animal skin? Like a cool. This is a cool skin. Also there.
This is big one.
Yeah, the one is just a white truck.
Yes.
Yeah. This is a cool skin. And the bow as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also this bow looking so many decoration. This a tail of baboon. And then they just cut round like this, and they engage in this.
Do it
and
over,
looking, really, really nice.
Yes.
And also they have these arrows. They make these arrows themselves. They kind of these trees calling sandpaper tree.
It quickly became clear that this settlement was staged for tourists.
How to make
Maybe the Hadza used this location for emergency shelter, but there was not a single cooking pot or water container to be seen. There was a suspicious absence of the smell of human excrements or a dump for food leftovers like animal bones or other kinds of waste. These photos show what a Hadza settlement is supposed to look like. Nomadic hunter-gatherers build temporary shelter in a location with sufficient food for the moment, and they move on when the food source is exhausted. The hunt, also staged, is on.
Have you heard the noise of Gina? This way? Yeah.
Okay, yeah. You can see that those guys, that they follow trails, man-made trails. It looks as if they constantly take the same routes to roam the territory. No. Tools grow everywhere, so just make one.
That's it.
These are from a donkey. If they are dry, you can make fire out of with this. So one preparing fire and the other digging for the roots.
These tubers survive the dry period very well and are staple food for the Hadza.
But when they burn on a fire, it becomes very easy to take off the skin.
They have to put it in the fire. Okay. And then of course it will make what do you call this? It's bitter.
Yeah, it's good.
Push down, hon. You have to push down. Yes, that's the... Push down.
A little bit quickly. Aja yang buka.
Kajan.
I make fire like you. Mana jauh banget. Busuk gila pergi. Okay.
Dan het. Beton hebben.
It's like
the
because we did not catch animal in
Yeah. Put it down.
Yeah.
To share with us something.
Yeah. Of course. The boy doesn't want to eat. Thank you.
Kata na yung ginam siya. Kati ikuha gitu.
What is good? What is good in your dialect? So try?
This is boab tree fruit or what? No.
Yeah, fruit.
If you want, you can take all of these seeds,
Yeah.
put in a bottle of Kilimanjaro water, and
Make juice.
Make
Yeah.
juice.
and make juice.
Simply magnificent trees.
After the tuber lunch, it was back to camp. Surprise, surprise, a different group, probably more quiet than us, caught this monkey. This guy is playing a one-string orutu, a real instrument. In skillful hands, it sounds like this.
animal skin. The stench is horrible, and I think they own this car, but I'm not sure.
Well, staged or not, it was an interesting visit and we enjoyed the brisk morning hike. Our next visit was a blacksmith, not part of the travel schedule, but known by the guide. This was not a planned or staged visit and therefore much more interesting.
They took a nail, really nail they bought in a shop, in a hardware, and then they bring here, just burn in a fire and put in the middle of charcoal, and then a little bit become smooth, easily to knock, like to make flat, and then they put decoration like this. You see how it's making fun?
Present day Iron Age, transforming scrap metal into arrowheads.
You'll be choking if you eat something.
No, because
That is the skin. What is it?
this cow skin.
It's a good idea. Ah, the story.
Dari baba.
That's the one. Put it there.
So how's it?
You want banana?
No, the small one only. I don't like the big one.
Carry water to the house. We're going to have a look now in the house.
Daddy. Okay. Come in. It's this way, but not common nowadays because yeah, we are just getting modern life nowadays because we have machines, so we don't need to be tired making.
But they're not doing anymore?
Yeah, they're doing, but not common nowadays.
Yeah, I know. What is that, beans?
Yeah, this is beans.
Where did they get that?
What?
They buy it?
Yep.
She knows.
Yeah, she wants to see, no?
Yeah.
She's like cooking. So and this is where the
Woman sleep.
women are sleeping. Okay.
She asking, have you engaged in marriage with this man?
No, I'm married.
Okay. That's mommy one.
Ah.
How many children you have?
I don't have it.
You have no children. No.
Yeah, it's normal everywhere like
But
that.
here, in this
Yeah,
area?
still there.
Yeah.
Still there.
After the interesting visit to the blacksmith's family, we jumped in the car to hit the dusty roads again and to drop off our guide in his hometown.
Thank you.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Yes, thank you very much for your guidance.
It's a more Thanks, sir.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Landscape of Africa is absolutely beautiful, and it was a joy to look around on this long journey towards Serunera Wildlife Lodge inside the Serengeti Nature Reserve, where we would spend our third night. Of course, the gravel roads are bumpy, and the outdated design of the Land Rover Defender made the rattling car shake and jiggle like a chuck wagon. It was impossible to keep the camera steady, and the mechanical image stabilization of the old Sony Handycam couldn't cope. Most of the driving footage was rendered unsuitable to the eye and therefore left out.
There's one car come here and then stuck here. Then the people are inside. When the people drop it from the car, one of the fall in there. Then he break his back and his legs. I like this place. This is a good place for the goat. There's enough green grass, green leaves for them.
The rattling and shaking abruptly ends when we turn on the tarmac road from Arusha going to the Serengeti. The route passes through the Ngoro Conservation Area.
So this is the Ngorongoro forest.
The tarmac ends at the entrance gate of the Ngoro Conservation Area. Marco arranges for the permits to cross the reserve that cost a hefty $320 for one car and 3 passengers. When visiting the Serengeti, you have to take this road twice, since it's the only road available. You guessed it, you have to pay twice too.
So on top of the rim of the Ngorongoro crater, right?
Yeah, this is the crater. That's the crater from up here. You see the head of animals in the green part of the crater. All the herbivores now are coming to the green part of the crater because they can have enough pasture for them. And then it's about 265 square kilometers. That's the crater area. 265 square kilometers. And it's about 600 meters from the top here to the floor of the crater. 2050. These are head of buffaloes.
We would not descend into the crater now, but we will go down after a few days on the way back to Arusha. This is what the other side of the crater looks like, looking south. The crater rim is heavily forested. It rises 600 meters above the crater floor and 2200 meters above sea level. The rim receives more rainfall than the surrounding plains.
Smart ass is taking water from the tank. Look at this.
After descending from the Ngoro crater, we arrive at the grasslands that is Maasai territory. A typical Maasai village, enclosed in a circular fence. At night, all cattle are placed in an enclosure in the center, safe from wild animals. Lunch break for our driver Marco at the border gate of the Serengeti. I use this welcome break from the bumpy ride for a few camera shots of the surroundings. In the far distance, a group of Maasai. They travel vast distances on foot. The car got disinfected before we were allowed to proceed on our journey. After the long afternoon drive, we arrive at the Seronera River, the largest of 4 rivers that flow northwest from the plains of central Serengeti towards the Grumeti River, which empties into Lake Victoria.
Yeah.
Being a safari guide is not really difficult. First you go to one of the rivers, then you look for other safari cars, and that is where the animals are. Late afternoon, we arrived at Seronera Wildlife Lodge after this exciting day. The next morning, we had to get up at the crack of dawn for even more excitement. But that is for the second video.